Keely, can you hear me? Minnie has left the building. Okay, so this is weird because I'm on the Be Live platform as me using my cell phone. So hopefully this will work. Let me move this out of the way. So much for the new speakers. Shouldn't be this hard to get good sound. Okay. All right, let's see. This way. Okay. All right. So, hi everybody. So welcome to Home Staging Talk Show Live. I did get new speakers and was up to like 2 a.m. trying to get them to work. And so obviously they're not working because I sound like Minnie Mouse. So I hope I can hear the guests. So June and Johnathan, excuse me, June Carter and Johnathan Miller are my guests today. So hopefully they will come into the studio here shortly. Excuse me. First, I have to say happy birthday to our daughter, Lauren. She turns 25 today. So happy birthday, Lauren. I love you. Dad does too. And we're so blessed you're in our lives. Okay. So with that, we have some announcements to make. So I'll go ahead and get those up here. First of all, Nashville. So our conference coming up in Nashville is October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll go here so you can see my head. And we have, tickets are selling and it's going to be a great event. So make sure that you don't miss out on that. And so register for the conference while the prices are still where they are. And then get ready to be filled with knowledge and networking. And just we're going to have a great time. So October 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Nashville. And so you can go to IAHSPConExpo.com to get your tickets. Excuse me. IAHSPConExpo.com to get your tickets. And so we have 2.5 days full of sessions, opportunities to meet our vendors at the expo, which will be really great. And then our awards dinner on Friday. So that's going to be really great. So make sure to get your tickets. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. So make sure to get them while the prices are still good. And of course, our keynote speakers, whoops, that should have disappeared. Excuse me, keynote speakers. Celebrity keynotes are Carson Kressley, Tom Felicia, and Candace Olson. So Candace will be speaking on Friday, Tom and Carson on Saturday. So we're really excited to hear what they have to share. All three are very successful business owners. And then also we have our inspirational keynote will be Barb Schwartz. So she'll be on Friday evening on the General Jackson's Showboat, our awards dinner. So that's going to be really a great event. Candace Olson is also going to stay, and she'll be attending that dinner with us, which will be fun. So that will be happening. And then we have a couple of things tied to the conference. So first of all, for those of you that aren't familiar with the conference, we have 29 speaking topics and almost 40 speakers. So we have the expo. We'll have Design Talk Live there. Joseph Hecker will be there broadcasting. Also, the Shays Lounge with Nick May. He'll be there broadcasting. We have our awards dinner. And then you're also going to get a designation, the Investor Staging Consultant designation. So our event is always a getaway with a takeaway. So you're going to take away new credentials. So the Investor Staging Consultant designation. And then we also have Advanced Stager Training Day. So I'm going to throw that up there. This is actually a workshop. It's 2 days. So Advanced Stager Training is 2 days in a workshop. And it's the 6th and 7th. So conference goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then Sunday and Monday would be Advanced Stager Training, workshop style for those who have 6 figures and above businesses. And this is a collaboration between 6 industry leaders. So Marianne Cherico on the left, Joanne Leonard Weary in the middle, Catherine Lewis Brown. I'm sorry, Catherine, the logo's covering your faces. Sorry. On the right, Melissa Morrow on the bottom left. I'm in the middle, and then Jana Usselton. So we've got 6 different organizations, coaching groups, associations represented in the workshop. Plus, we're going to have additional speakers that will be there sharing on pertinent topics. So we have Renee Helton on the left, who is a MAPS coach or has been a MAPS coach for KW. She owns a real estate school. She does a lot with business productivity and training. So sales and productivity is going to be her focus. Then Johnathan Miller, who's our guest today, he will be sharing and talking about marketing because he's a marketing guru. And then Brandy Sales on the right, he does a lot with like video tech and other tech that we need to know about for our businesses for marketing and sales purposes. So very excited to have them joining the rest of the group to be part of that workshop. So those of you that are, interested too, we are looking for volunteers for conference. So the volunteers, we need your help because it takes a village to put on an event like this. So those of you that have already signed up, we greatly appreciate that. The website to sign up would be IAHSPConExpoVolunteers.com. IAHSPConExpo Volunteers with a plural, volunteers.com. So you go there and you can fill out the little form that asks, which committee do you want to be on and so forth. And then we're going to be formally putting all those together and reaching out to everybody who has volunteered. So there's like the registration committee, decorations committee, setup, tear down, the awards dinner, and so forth. We need help. So those of you that would be interested in doing that, we greatly appreciate it. We also have the day before conference for those of you that are coming in early. We do the swag bag stuffing, and that's quite it's like an assembly line, but it's a lot of fun. And so if you're willing to volunteer, we will take your help, and we greatly appreciate that. So again, IAHSPConExpoVolunteers.com. Okay, so next I want to promote our wholesale market. So those of you people are signing up, which we're very excited about. So we have 2 opportunities for you coming up. One is in Atlanta on July 10th, and then one on July 28th in Las Vegas. And so this is where you will be taken around to our key vendors, shown the ropes, and taught how to read tags and how to shop wholesale and so forth. And I'm going to lower this down because I feel like, I guess I can't. That's a mess. So screen. Back up. So you'll be taught how to shop wholesale, how to read the tags, how to navigate the different markets. Also, we're going to direct you to the vendors that work well with stagers, and especially the ones we have relationships with to give the best pricing. So Krista Jessup and Sandra Holmes work on this aspect of our association for our members. And Krista is on the phone every day selling our vendor expo spots and also talking to vendors about the benefit of aligning themselves with our association, because we have, over 4,000 members worldwide. So we are definitely the biggest and largest, and that gives us a lot of buying power. So definitely plan on registering for that. So shopwholesalemarket.com is the name of the website to register, shopwholesalemarket.com. So make sure that you get your spot to do that. Oh, and here's the advanced stager training. So I already put that up. That was out of order on my agenda. So I apologize. But this will at least give you the domain to sign up. So advancedstagertraining.com is the domain. And then this one here, I'm going to show just so it's on the record. This is the volunteer. So I forgot I put these in the agenda. So while those are up there, I'm also going to discuss, don't forget to nominate somebody for Best of Home Staging for 2019. Best of Home Staging 2019. So these are people that are in the industry. They can be part of any association, not part of an association. It doesn't matter. They just need to be somebody that deserves recognition. And so they can be recognized in 1, 2, or 3 categories, or all 3, 2 out of 3, whatever they deserve: staging excellence, customer service, and industry leadership. So to nominate somebody, you can go to bestofhomestaging.com, bestofhomestaging.com, and that should be the domain. And you can submit their information, and the deadline is July 10th. Deadline is July 10th. And so we'll start sending out the notices to those that have already been notified and nominated by somebody that you have been nominated, and then we'll release the entire list of all the winners and also notify those who have qualified and so forth for the nominations and for the recognition. So that is really going to be great. And then our industry awards that we give out at conference, we'll start promoting those I'll send out the notice to submit for that back probably in first part or middle of July or end of July-ish. So look for that, and that's where you'll be recognized in various categories. And so those are specific awards for individuals who are deserving, like top vacant, top occupied, top team, top individual, etc., rising star, the Barb Schwartz Staging Excellence Award, and so top chapter. So those nominees will be going out. You'll be able to nominate and submit probably at the end of July, beginning of August for those awards. So get yourself ready, because you'll have to submit photos and demonstrate your proficiency in the particular category you're going to be nominated in. And so you want to make sure to get all that ready to go so that you can submit right away. All right. And then, okay, so I still don't have June or Johnathan in the lobby, which concerns me. So June and Johnathan, if you guys are watching, you need to get on the show. Because I'm almost out of announcements here. June Carter is going to come on first. And of course, we started our IAHSP coaching program with her. So she does coaching in a little bit of a different way than, my experience as a coach, I'll call myself, in parentheses, because I don't have a certification. I haven't gone through the training on that. But what I was doing more was like mentoring and giving people goal setting to keep them on track with their business activity. And so June's going to talk about how her coaching is different than that, and how she frames that, because it's really important. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that and having her share with you today. And then that's all I got. So I don't know why June and Johnathan are not in the lobby. So June and Johnathan, if you guys are watching, you should be on my show. So. Oh, hey, Carla. Hey, Karen. Hey, Keely. KK, CC, all the, and then Virginia, good morning. So, all right, well, let's see here. I'm going to check my other phone here while I'm doing this and talking to you, because I'm going to see if anybody has messaged me. Let's see here. No chats, messages. Johnathan, we are on live. We are live. Where are you? Question mark. Okay. And then June, we are live. Where are you? Okay. Well, so I'll just see if they respond. And so while we are waiting to hear back from them, I'm going to find, where's my little thing I did? So I did a presentation yesterday as part of my day. And I'm going to talk about that while we're waiting for them. So it was at a Keller Williams office. And so if you've ever been to one of their team meetings, they always have education, recognition, and so forth. And so what the team leader was talking about was how to fill your pipeline. And even though he was talking to realtors about this, it definitely applies to stagers. And I've always said you're anywhere from 0 to 90 days from results with your business at any given time, 0 to 90 days away. So, and that's very true for just about any business. You start planting the seeds and marketing, and within 90 days, you should see results. And of course, it depends on what you're doing for marketing and so forth. What he talked about was how, a lot of people think the business is cyclical. And certainly there are seasons where we have more activity and then times of the year that we have less activity. But we have to get out of the mindset of thinking that my region shuts down and there's no business during certain times of the year, because there is business year round for us in staging. And the key is when other people who might be more of a seasonal thinker, or, it's their personal choice if they want to take off time and, during certain times of year, that's fine. However, you want to be always planting seeds so you're preparing for what's coming for the next year. Now, one of the things that we are experiencing here in Denver, and I'm not sure if it's like this around the country, but this is what I'm hearing, is a definite slowdown on both days on market are increasing. And interestingly, at least in our market, showings are decreasing. So that like a house we're staging today has been on the market a month. Not even one showing, not one, which is so shocking. And it's a house that's been remodeled. It's a mid-century modern type property, but not even to have one person go into the house and look at it in person is shocking. So we're going to stage it with furnishings and so forth that will be appropriate. And hopefully get some new photos. The realtor hopefully should do that, and then get a different presentation of the property. So as a stager, when the market slows, what happens? Our business should increase, right? Because people who are in the past who may have thought, well, we'll just put it on the market and it's going to sell because the market's hot. All of a sudden they're realizing maybe we should do something more to get the attention, especially if there's more competition out there and there's more houses to look at. So our inventory right now, as far as the number of available houses for sale, is the highest that it's been since 2013. So it's a 38% increase. And that, again, what that says is houses are on the market, buyers are being more selective. The prices are not going whoosh, escalating as fast as they had been. It's more of a more reasonable market, I think. And so houses need to be prepared and they need to look good in order to get that buyer's attention. So whatever's happening in your market, take it and use it as an advantage for yourself. As a stager, we need to know what's happening in our market. And I know I see you, Johnathan, so I'm glad you're there. I saw you come on. I've had sound issues. So I'll wrap my little segment up here. I was just filling time talking about so I can get you guys on here. And June wanted to come on first. So I don't know what happened to June. So it might just be you and me today, Johnathan. Oh, June says she's here. But I don't see you in the studio, June. You have to, you're not in the studio. So you need to connect your camera. And there's somebody at my front door, but I'm not able to answer it. This happened last time too. I had to run out of the screen and go down and answer the front door. So I'm not doing that today. So anyhow, so those stagers, that you need to know your real estate market, because that impacts our productivity and how our message changes for the agents. So it has been, the market's hot. You don't leave money on the table, stage it, and then get the very, very best price. The message is going to shift a bit to, stage your property so it gets attention and gets sold over the competition. So keep that in mind as you are moving into this rest of the summer and into the fall, and craft your message based on your market. See, the doorbell's ringing, and I have no idea who's at the door. So my husband was walking the dog, and somebody else is in the shower. So it's the door. Oh, John's going to get the door. Okay, good. Yay. Okay. All right. So with that, so June, I still don't see you, June, in the studio, and I know you wanted to go first. So. All right, I'm going to bring Johnathan on, I guess. So June, try to connect in. I'm going to see what you wrote to me here. I am here. You're not in the studio. Well, you probably can hear me. You are, so I'm trying to type on my phone, not, I can't even type with one finger, not in video mode. Okay, so I send that to her. All right. Okay, how do I get rid of that? Okay, good. All right. All right, so I'm going to bring Johnathan on. So Johnathan Miller is going to come on, so it's going to count down for you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. A little bit of technical challenges. I sent my son out. Yeah, he went last night. He got some new, these are very nice speakers, Logitech speakers, but I sound like Minnie Mouse earlier, so I don't know.
Don't sound like Minnie Mouse.
No, right now I don't, but right before, if you listen to the show, it'll be like, oh. That's what it sounded like. So that's why I'm using
I got a new microphone, so I was a little worried that it might not work.
So I might have to get a microphone or something. So anyway, so tell people who you are.
I'm Johnathan Miller. I own J Squared Interior Staging and Design in Richmond, Virginia. I'm also on the board of HSRA. So I know you guys are doing a partnership, which is fabulous. Yes. So, I've been staging for 9 years. I started out doing interior design, and then I started to see a trickle over effect, which we're starting to really, in the staging industry, see a lot of now. But I started thinking, I was like, how can I always make money? And people are always going to be selling houses. They may not always be decorating them, but, and I also got tired of having to tailor my design to one specific person.
Right.
So I'm just very minimalist, and I liked staging a lot more. So then I started my staging company, and the rest is internet history.
Well, and so your logic as far as why you got into staging versus, focusing solely on design, that was kind of my logic too. I originally was going to do paint murals in people's houses and do things like that. And I said to myself, that's when people have mad money, they'll do things like that. But I wanted to find something that was mandatory, that they will always need. And so that's why staging is so great, because once somebody experiences it, even if they move to a different market, next time they sell, they're going to want their properties staged.
Right.
So,
well, and one of the things, I did residential design for 5 years, and then as HGTV took off, as the industry started to grow on the design side, I found that my clients' friends had more of an opinion and influence on what the client liked versus the client actually deciding for themselves. So I would present a design, it would be loved by the husband and the wife. I would get a call 2 days later that Muffy, Buffy, and Cookie didn't like the drapes and they all had to change and we had to go back to the drawing board. And I was just like, no, I'm tired of that. I want to be able to do a design and it just appeal to everyone.
right. Well, it's also an appeal to the target, the target buyer. And the great thing about that is that Muffy, Buffy, and Cookie, they could hate what you're doing, but they're not buying the house. So it doesn't matter what they say. Which
Exactly.
is great.
And they'll always find something they like, even if it's a little tchotchke bird or something. There's always something there they can find positive out of it.
Well, I think it's funny when, like we stage for somebody and then they'll bring some ugly item in that they think, oh, this is really going to help the sale because we really need this. One client brought this ugly ceramic elephant. It was like a plant stand. Into this. I'm like thinking, like, why? That's not going to help the sale. So why did you add that? So it's just sort of funny. Some of the people.
It really is to see what they add because they have that eye.
They think they do.
All right.
So, and June, you're sideways. I can see you now, but you're like this. Okay, now you're straight.
Maybe she's doing yoga right now.
So, do you need, so June, before I really get in with Jonathan, you said you had a coaching, are you okay? All right, so we can finish. You can come after. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Jonathan, you are somewhat of a marketing guru. So how did that all evolve for you?
It kind of happened while I was when I graduated college, I was recruited to do marketing for a long-term healthcare facility. So that one kind of, I loved the number that they put out there right away because I was graduating college and I had no money. So I jumped right into that like any other college graduate would and did that for quite a while and did interior design on the side. Well, I didn't realize I had the marketing bug until I was so challenged to actually sell apartments to dying people or people who had that step in the door of where it was they couldn't live alone anymore. They needed 24-hour care kind of thing. And it's easy to put something pretty on a page and for one of us to buy it. But when you're having to sell someone's final life decision to them, it takes a lot of work. And so I just realized that whenever I started staging, I was like, okay, I need to be able to market myself more. And I jumped right on the bus with internet marketing, even though when I was in college, that wasn't as big of a push for you to learn. I had a really big interest in it and social media marketing, especially. And I was one of the first people on Instagram that just really stuck with it. I remember being on Facebook and people saying, oh, Instagram's nothing. It's not going to stick around. And now it's overpowered Facebook to the point of where Facebook bought it a few years ago. So, neck and neck there. But at the same time, people like pretty. And I like creating things that are pretty. So Instagram really worked well with my influence on that, being able to promote and market my company to the point of where it was some different type of marketing, which is how you always need to market. You need to do something that's just a little bit outside of the box that'll make you stand out a little bit more.
Right. And that's very true. So you don't want to be like white noise.
No.
You've got to stand out. So you're on Instagram, because I was just reading something, somebody was saying that Instagram, it was just an article like, oh, it's not going to be as important. Moving forward, what's your take on that?
I'm not seeing that right now. It's really kind of funny because I've known a lot of industry professionals over the last couple of years who still tried to hold on to other platforms and everything still moved to Instagram. I think that you'll notice a lot of like Pinterest and even LinkedIn, they're starting to mirror some of the aspects of Instagram. So Instagram, like everything else, will eventually phase itself out. But from the branding perspective, it's good to get yourself established there now, especially if you're starting a new business, because you can really send your brand message through that platform. And as you start to see a decline in that, or, the other platforms start to up their game a little bit more, you're able to transition that over, because really a lot of times the systems are somewhat interchangeable. So as long as you know how to work one, then you can keep yourself relevant and market with the other.
So, and it's also about the demographics too, because like Facebook, largely used by, people, I think my generation, the Gen Xers, are largely on that platform. Instagram usually tracks a bit of a younger audience. And then, you have things like Snapchat, which I don't really use. I know my kids are using that, and, they'll think that the things disappear. I'm like, listen, nothing's ever really gone. So don't be sending anything you wouldn't want me to see on
Right.
Snapchat. But Instagram. So one of the things people ask about hashtags. So I
Uh,
have a question for you. You may not be able to answer this because I haven't like Googled the answer. But first of all, the importance of hashtags on Instagram, very different than Facebook. There's, I think, a limit to really what you want to be putting on there. But the Instagram hashtags, some of them are like, I like a chocolate cookie.com, or a hashtag I like a chocolate cookie. They might put that. Where does that go? Like, where do the hashtags go? Like when you put a hashtag, where is there like a collective place? Like, is it
okay.
through Twitter? Yeah.
You can, it's actually better to put them in the comments, to do some periods or return buttons down, and then put them down below, because the way the algorithms work through Instagram is the I call them spiders, little spiders that go through Instagram as they're perusing through. They want to keep the content to where it is the pretty. They don't want to see a lot of words. So that's where they actually push using a lot of emojis versus words. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not so much reading. People can scroll fast. And so then and it's done that way because the sponsored ads, they have more words. And so they want those to be able to push through a lot. So you want to have those hashtags down below in the comment areas. Having one or two in your title isn't bad, but you don't want to have more than, 2 to 3 there, because then it's just going to pick it up and it's going to knock you down for how you actually present in someone's feed. You never want to have more than 30. The ideal number of hashtags is actually 10, to keep
Okay.
you from being pushed down more, because the more you have, the more, it's kind of like when you walk in a room and you see the most outstanding person there with the best hair, and then you turn around and, they've got badly cut bangs or something, and you're like, oh, that just ruined the whole thing. So, visual example, we're all
Right.
visual people most of the time, it's just basically it's pushing you down because there's too much there and it's too much to look at. So they want to keep you with the photos more. So ideally 10, and you want to try and pick hashtags a lot of times that aren't as popular. So one of the recent ones, it was like, but the backsplash though, and it's ending with the though, and it's one of those things that it's the millennial phrasing that they click on faster. And any business continues to grow if you have that younger demographic on board. As it's really funny when I hear a millennial say, yeah, Facebook's done, or someone younger being like, yeah, Facebook's for old people. And I'm like, I was in college when Facebook came out, so that kind of makes me feel a little older than I am. And but at the same time, we've got to keep up with that if we want to actually keep our industry going and growing.
Very true. So the hashtag. So who's accumulating the hashtags? Like, is there a company that's doing that? Is that Twitter, or like, where do they go? Like, if I type in like hashtag Denver, I know it collects somewhere. Like, if I go to Twitter, I don't know. So I don't know if that's a.
Oh, on Instagram, when you click on a hashtag, it takes you and it shows you all of the photos that have been tagged with that. So then when you click on the photo, you can click on the person's profile.
So what else? So when somebody's hashtags in Facebook, it doesn't do that though.
Yeah,
It's
well,
more like a meta tag keyword.
different. It'll pull up your search menu, and then it'll show you in Facebook. It just shows you your friends, or colleagues, or pages that you're following that show that that have used that hashtag. Instagram shows you everyone.
And then,
so like if you pull up one of mine is hashtag J2RVA, it will take you and it'll show you all the photos that are tagged with that hashtag. And of course, the bulk of them are on my Instagram, but there are other places that have tagged them as well. So then it just shows you that different influence of things. Where did you go? Mouse. So I'm not sure if I'm still live or not.
Oh, there you are. Okay, and add you back. Okay. All right, there you are.
Okay, good.
Nothing will happen. I swear to God, I didn't touch anything. So
You turned into Minnie Mouse from like you went away, then you came back, and then I was like, wait, am I still live and she's not here? And then someone watching actually said, yes, you are. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. So I was like,
yeah, so I'm using my cell phone. So the Minnie Mouse me is through my camera. So this is when controlling the show, but that's the audio's not working. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it. So I have a brand new system, but it doesn't have, for some reason, doesn't have speakers, which is bizarre. So the monitor, I think it's the monitor doesn't have, I'm gonna have to just get rid of this monitor and get a different one. So anyway.
What you need is a Mac. You need
What's that?
A Mac.
I know, I'm
one of the best
girl.
investments I ever did, and I will say there's a learning curve there of the different keystrokes and things that is a big pain. However, you can see how clear I am right now. I would almost wish there was a little bit more of a blur, so I could look like 10 years younger. But at the same time, I'm like, well, clarity of things is actually pretty good since I do a lot of video.
Right.
Instagram is more for, it's an influencer market. So people look on there to see what everyone else is doing. And that's kind of how Instagram really took off, as, you know, being Insta famous, having that influencer status, but also the people who don't have that status, they want to get on there and see what everyone else is doing, because, you know, that old adage of being like the Joneses next door, it never has gone away. The difference is it became be like a Kardashian instead of the Jones.
Right, right.
So,
and then somebody was saying, I was on a one of the pages yesterday, and they were looking, they said how they built their influence and they're getting referrals. It was on Instagram, but what they did is they followed a ton of realtors in their market, who then I guess must have followed back, and that's how they have built their brand and their visibility. They specifically use Instagram for that.
That's how I did it. That was exactly how I did it. Was I focused in on that, because I will say I can sit down and I can write an article for something, but I don't really enjoy doing that. And my brain goes 200 miles an hour. So a lot of times I leave out the proper grammar, and I had some friends who were grammar Nazis. And so I did not like writing things on Facebook, even a little paragraph, because I would like get a text, be like, oh, you left out the comma here, the semicolon there. And I'm just like, whatever.
Get a job.
Instagram, I could leave one line and a pretty picture, and it made everyone happy. But I did do the same thing. I went through, when I signed up for Instagram, it just pulled all of my contacts in, and it was like, you know, suggested everyone I follow. And I went literally through and followed every single person that was on there. And then if someone was a successful agent in my area, I would pull, once they had followed me back, I would go and see who they were following and go through and follow every agent on their thing. So then that way I was starting to get connected, and people started to see who I was. They started seeing what I was doing. And that's really, I have 2 Instagrams for that reason. One is personal, one is for my company. And I always suggest you do that, because people do want to see what you're doing. They want to see the real person behind that. But when they're going to get an example of work to show a client, when they're doing a sales, listing presentation, they don't want to see you riding the bull at the IAHSP event.
Right.
They want
How'd you know we're going to do that?
Be a mechanical bull. Exactly. So it's like, you know, they're wanting to present that professional thing right there. And with everybody having iPads and their phones, they're going to pull that up, and they're going to be able to say, no, this is what my staging company does. So you want to keep it sleek and professional, you know, and then the other one, and that way the client can go and do a search later and keep your names on your platforms the same. That's one of the bigger things. Like mine is J squared RBA on every platform, and my personal Instagram is J squared RBA too. So if they do a search, they find that. And it's the age of the internet. We all do searches. We're all stalkers in some way. The difference is we just don't, sit outside people's windows now, but we search in their feeds. So it's
Right.
pretty much the same thing.
And I feel like sometimes like I'm a detective. I had
Mhm.
somebody, I have a quick quote thing on my website. So somebody submitted, it was an agent. And then so or I call, I email, I text, I call again, I don't get a response. I'm like, I'm going to Google who this person is. So I find the team leader person is someone I've actually worked with. So I actually texted her because this other person wasn't getting back to me. But I was like, I felt like a total detective, like, let's put the pieces together because I don't want to let this lead go without hearing back from them. So yeah, the internet can be a scary thing and a good thing. How
Well, and
much
that's the
information?
thing too, is because they know you, your brand is already set from the very
Right.
first time that you're on camera. You're solidifying that relationship whether you meet these people or not. We get a ton of referrals from agents that I've never met, that I've never done anything for, but
Right.
they see me doing these videos on Facebook, they see my Instagram, they feel like they've been part of that staging journey and like that I've done something for them, which is great because then they're confident enough to give a referral for my services without ever having to use this. So it's kind of a nice
Right.
thing in that aspect.
It is. And so then the last thing, so the advanced teacher training, you're going to be there talking, and then next year we'll have you at the main event. I won't tell you where it's going to be, but it'll be fun. And so I'm really excited to have you there because this will be the workshop with the 6+ figure stagers. And of course, you're in that same echelon. So, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. So it's not just talk the talk. So you're living, eating, breathing that as well. And so for those people that are thinking about attending, give them a little nugget as far as what you're thinking of sharing some of the. Oh, I find like that we might even be able to do like a hands-on something where they can actually not just listen, but actually do it. That might be something that would be beneficial.
Yeah, no, I can totally do some hands-on stuff. I'm going to be teaching them how to make sure their brand image is what they want it to be. And what we were just talking about with everything being out there, a good friend of mine said recently that my Facebook was strictly professional. He was like, you don't really have that many personal things on there. And I was like, well, that's my professional image because your professional image, your brand image is what is getting you jobs. It's what's making the phone ring. So
Right.
one of the things I'm going to be touching on during that time is not just your brand, not just having the right logo, not just having this. It's what you're putting out there 100% across the board, whether it be your video, whether it be not video. One of the things I learned that I'll be talking more about is that I did not want to be the face of my company. I wanted my company to be based on the work. So then eventually, if I decided to move on, I could, and it wouldn't be stuck with me. What I found was that I had solid branding, but people wanted a person. They wanted a pulse. So that's where the brand imaging came into it. And from the moment I stepped in front of the camera, I had to make sure that I kept that person what people wanted to buy from. Because it's like
Right.
anything in life. Now, fake news, everything you see, a reputation can be damaged in days. It can happen to any of us. So you want to make sure your brand image is on point, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about. That's one of the nuggets there.
And that's really important because I actually have, you're not supposed to, I do have two Facebook pages. So I have one that's my family, college, high school friends. And it's just like, this is where I put more personal stuff. And then I have my Jenny Norris, and that's the public persona. And that has many more people that I engage with, professional colleagues and so forth. And I think that is important because you do have, you do have to watch what you put out there because people are looking and reviewing. And so anyway, I'm really excited to have you there. Are you going to be at you're going to be at Market, right, in Vegas?
I am actually teaching a course that day. On the 30th, I actually have to teach a course of 80 people have already registered. And so the Association of Realtors here in Richmond, Virginia recruited me to actually create this course and teach it. So
What is the class?
it's called a visible brand, selling your home, selling a home. It was just approved by the state. The Association of Realtors here went through, they did everything for me. They came, they had heard me speak, they wanted me to create this course. So I did the outline, submitted it. They took care of everything, which is great because it's the Association of Realtors for the town. So they went to the state, got it done.
You'll be teaching that in Virginia?
Uh-huh.
So, but are you going to be out in market earlier than that?
I will be there from the 22nd to the 27th.
Okay, so we'll. I think I'm flying. I don't. We'll be there, so hopefully we can overlap. So I'd like to see you in person.
Sure we will. Yeah, no, definitely. So.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for being on.
I really wanted to be there for the industry standards part, and it just so happened that that's the day that they scheduled me to teach this class, and so.
We'll get it all caught up, and then but that'll be. I'm excited to see you, and then of course we'll see you in Nashville. It'll be very fun to have you there. So those who have any questions for Johnathan, you can reach him at his site is J Squared, so it's SQARED, so it's spelled out, Home Staging and Redesign. And he's on all the different platforms. And those of you that are watching, you go ahead and share the segment out too, so we get a lot of exposure. That would be great. Appreciate it. So that's awesome. So thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it. And we'll have maybe we can have you on right before the conference too. Be great.
That'd be great.
All right. So say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, June Howard, we're going to bring you on. I keep saying Howard, June Carter. June Howard was an agent I worked with in Roseville, and she passed away, so that's why she's been on my mind. So, but anyway, June Carter, good morning.
Hi, just test the audio. You can hear me, right?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm still laughing over the elephant in the living room that your client brought in. Literally, you had an elephant in the living room.
I know, yeah. And it was like, it wasn't like the room was empty. We had the couch, the love seat, the accent table. The thing was full, and she just thought that would enhance the staging. So sometimes I look at the pictures and I see things that agents have brought in, or it also annoys me when they move our things around too. And it's like, don't touch my stuff, because that's part of the agreement. So,
Absolutely.
Well, for those people who don't know who you are, tell people who you are.
I am June Carter of GYST Solutions. That is GYST, Get Your Stuff Together. And I am proud to be an ASPM. And I took the course in April, and it rocked my world. I am also recently a trainer teaching ASP, and we're working on classes in Jacksonville, Florida, and in Long Island, New York, and a few other places. And I'm very much looking
Savannah.
Savannah would be great.
Savannah, Georgia. I like that. Savannah.
Beautiful.
Savannah, like molasses.
Beautiful. Great restaurants.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places that it's funny because there's just certain places that I know that the company has taught, but I haven't been the trainer there. It's like Nashville, I'd never been until we previewed. That's a great city. So and the whole South, because Betty's there, so she usually handles the South. I've been to Atlanta, of course, Virginia, Florida, South, the real far South. So anyway,
you are on the Panhandle, the Florida Panhandle, to get a course out in Santa Rosa or Panama City. So we've got a lot of pans in that fire. So no pun intended. And I am also a certified coach, which is what's bringing us to this conversation today. I am the home stager coach, but I am also the IAHSP coach of record.
Yes, and we're very excited to have you doing that. And I put up the logo earlier, and then I had this add this to the broadcast. I thought this was kind of a cool quote. It says, I can't even read it. Coaching helps you to take responsibility for your life. Yeah, for your life. Let go of what others think and become your true self. It's all about you creating the life that you want and deserve. I love that quote.
Yes. I'm borrowing it from you.
Oh, good. I can send it to you. I had talked with you about your coaching program, and we had talked about how it differs. And so, first of all, June was supposed to be on the show. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Anyway, I was really sick, and I literally lost my voice. And so, finally, this week, my throat isn't sore anymore, and I'm not coughing, which is good. So, thank you for rescheduling. And so, I wanted people to learn more about the coaching program. So, talk about how it's structured and how what you do is different than more of a mentoring approach to coaching.
So the little quick blurb is that mentoring is questions and coaching. Well, actually, mentoring is answers and coaching is questions. So as a coach, we don't ever tell anybody what to do. I have people come to me all the time saying, I'm afraid to tell you this and that because you will. I said, no, we never tell you anything. We are going to help you live your best life being the person you are. Now, how does that translate into staging? Everybody, when you do your 90-second elevator or 60-second elevator speech, we all give like a list of things we do. And then we sit back down in our chairs, grateful that it's over. But if that elevator speech could reflect not just the list of what you do, which are the features, but the benefits of who you are. So through coaching, we will dig down a little deeper, find out what your values are, find out what your needs are, find out what your strong modalities are, and turn that into you in your business.
Which is really important because instead of, it's like putting those, what do they call it, like the round thing in the square peg in the round hole, trying to get somebody to fit into a preset idea of what a business has to look like or what you have to be doing to succeed. You're taking the approach of identifying what their goals are and who they are versus trying to fit them into a preset. Because when I was early on, I was the ASP coach from 2003 to 2005. But what I would do is I had my, this is what you need to do. Get your list of 50 names. You need to make calls. And so this was like everybody, I gave them the same tasks to do because that's what I had done to build my business. And so, but that doesn't work for everybody. And so to hear you kind of explain that, it's kind of an aha for me that I never have really kind of thought of it that way. So I think that's really great that you take it. I mean, we talked about this before. It's like more of an organic approach, if you will.
So yes. And coaching is a collaborative path between the coach and the coachee to find and achieve your potential. So how does that translate into home staging? So we stage homes so that a buyer can envision themselves living in that house. We coach so you can envision yourself in your business as you can be. So one of the things I say all the time is, so you got certified, you graduated, now what? Just like you said, we teach ASP. Now, how are you going to make it your own? Not all of us are going to have inventory. Not all of us are going to have a team. Not all of us are going to do vacants only, occupieds. Who are we and how is that reflected in our business? And it's a lot of the aha moments are worth every second of doing this. Now, how does that differ from every so often in a coaching session? I have to say, okay, I'm taking off my coaching hat, and I'm putting on my mentoring hat and give someone a hardcore answer. But I have to be very clear, it's different because we have our code of ethics as stagers. For instance, don't buy a whole lot of stuff at the store and return it after the staging. That's right. Against our ethics. But we have our code of ethics as a coach, and the International Coaching Federation takes this very seriously. And I have to be very clear that I'm now giving you an example from my experience as opposed to coaching you through the process to come up with your own answers.
Right. And that makes a big difference. And sometimes you do want people to come to their own self-realization, like you walk them through. And it's almost, I mean, I don't want to use like the term psychologist, but it is almost like you're more in that kind of mode of having them kind of like the self-discovery as far as what they want versus telling them. Because we don't want people to be cookie cutter. Yeah.
I have a few of my testimonials here. I can't make this stuff up. Working with June as my coach is like business therapy. And here's another one. It was packed with thought-provoking ideas and creative planning. One of the things we do as coaches is we ask powerful questions. It's a constant replying to with powerful questions. So here, June asked pertinent questions that led me to an optimistic anticipation of things to come, the definition of hope. It's just, I absolutely love doing this, and I love helping people find their path because we're trained. Now what? Clear direction of what I need to do, launch my home staging career. June is excellent at asking the right questions, communicating, and helping you see what steps to take. And then I have a wonderful one from a French home stager. I learned many things, and I am now more confident in my home staging business. Sometimes we work on time management, which we talked about, was my presentation last year at our wonderful conference. And we'll help sort out with clarity the important versus the urgent. So it's just some of the testimonials. I think it speaks well to see what people take away from this.
Right. And I think the most important thing is, especially as somebody who's newer, because there's a lot of people getting into the industry, and, you know, we all know the hope is that everybody's successful. Reality is that, you know, people have different mindset, different goals, as far as an intention when they get in. And so, but for them to be able to identify from the beginning, you know, how do they want their business to look? And instead of saying, well, they see someone that's already established, like, well, I want to be just like that person, you know, and they can take a look at the business size and we can help them get there. But I always think it's interesting. You look at somebody who's hugely successful, what they don't see is all the behind the scenes, the work.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was gone, so the week that I was sick, that I flew the next day for my mom's birthday, and then spent a week at her house, and then went to my father-in-law's memorial. So I was at her house for, you know, Monday through Thursday working. And she said, she got a real, I look at what I do. She's been at my house here before, but we have activities going on. But I was literally at the computer and on the phone all day long, and I was handling logistics and fighting fires and so forth with clients, and both from my staging business side and also the association and staged homes. So she said, I didn't realize everything that goes on behind all the things you have to handle, just even getting furniture to where it needs to go. And I think a lot of new people that get in, they don't see that. They don't see, they see the finished product. And so I've done there's 16 steps for a vacant staging that I, you know, spelled out. And most clients are going to see 2 of those 16 steps, or maybe 3. And so the idea that these people are coming in the industry and they're like, well, I want to have a business like that person. It's like, well, A, do you really? And do you really know what that entails? And so being able to have that discovery up front, I think, is really valuable.
So you are very multifaceted and multi-talented, and I appreciate that. One of the things that I do a lot with people is, let's identify your strengths and weaknesses. And we have exercises to sometimes people leave a session with homework. And what are your needs and values? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And in your business, we want to support the strengths to strengthen them, and look at the weaknesses and maybe come up with creative solutions. So a classic example is, if you are not a numbers person and you hate QuickBooks, there are resources. And what does that mean? And if your strength is communications, maybe you should be doing face-to-face networking even more than the wonderful presentation we just had from Johnathan on if you're not comfortable with social media. Find your strengths and support them. And most people say to me, I never thought about that before. Most people have a lot of trouble identifying their own strengths and weaknesses. So given a process and a formal procedure to get there is very helpful.
Well, yeah, because there's some people that they're more the creative versus numbers, and you have to know. I mean, like, I am like that person. I don't like the keeping track of receipts. I don't like the whole accounting side. I know I force myself to do it, but that's where, you know, I should hire a bookkeeper to help me with that, or somebody to keep things on track, because I do not enjoy that process. And
Exactly.
But I do like the numbers. I do like knowing. I know exactly how much revenue. I mean, new businesses come in every single month. I can chart it. I know how many projects we have out. I know how many we've done to date. I can calculate all of that, because for me, that shows how viable the business is. And that's the revenue, that's the money side. And so I do track that, but I don't like getting into the whole, you know, accounting and payroll. You know, I don't do payroll. We have independent contractors, but anyhow, that part I don't really enjoy. I force myself to do it. So,
and
but
some people can't
necessary.
force themselves. Some people cannot force themselves, and then it never gets done.
Right.
So one of my favorite comments from coaching home stager coaches, and I coach people outside of the home staging industry, but this is my affiliation for home staging, is with IAHSP. But one of my favorite comments, and many people, I need to know how to market it. Well, we have to define what it is. And that's That's the piece. That it is who you are in your business. And if you just go to the 4 other home stagers in your area and borrow a little from each of their websites, you're marketing them. You're not marketing whatever that it is that is you. So let's find out what you are, who you are, and how live your best life being your best self and your best business. I'm going to drill down a little bit to get there.
Which is important. So then the program we're offering through IHOSP is, so explain, we have, tell them the parameters, the 1 month, 3 month, what we're doing.
Excuse me, I'm not in, just like you, I have demolition going on in my house, which started the minute this started. So
Can you hear the hammering and the drilling behind me? Can you hear that?
Yes, and what's happening in my house too. But I don't have good lighting here. I'm not in my regular space. So, okay, so we have 3 different tiers of pricing, and these are all on the IAHSP.com page under education. So first we have TOFI, Time Out for You, which is an hour-and-a-half power session at $220. And then we have 6 sessions, SBC, Staging Business Coaching, and that's $1,100. And then we have 12 sessions at $2,000, which this one I really like. Slice of Life, Staging and Life Included, Coaching for Everyone. And I know that we are well priced. I know that we are priced lower than most other coaches in the home staging industry. There is nobody else, I can say this confidently and humbly, there's nobody else with my credentials. I am a graduate of Coach Approach, and I am currently working on my, believe it or not, final exam, which will be a project of group coaching home stagers to identify their elevator speech through their needs and values.
That's great. So, the program, you can go to the IHOSP website, IAHSP.com, and then there's the page for coaching. You'll be able to look at that under the education. And so you'll be able to find out more. And then June is offering specials for IHOSP members. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's right there on the website.
And you'll contact her directly. Yeah, so you'll on the website, you'll be able to see the information, and then you'll be able, there's a link that actually takes you directly to her site.
To email me. We don't have a calendar because I'm working with somebody right now in Hawaii. I've worked with someone in South Africa. I've worked with people all time zones. If I put on a calendar, we'd be scheduling me 24/7. So just send me an email.
Awesome. And what's your email?
It is gyst.hsc@gmail. So that is gist.homestagercoach.
So gyst.hsc@gmail.com.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I can't believe we're out of time. So I'm sorry for the pounding and drilling. The guys that showed up are replacing windows, I guess. So they just decided to do that. Why could they have come yesterday?
I'm sorry for the delay. My Be Live wasn't behaving.
Yeah, well, my speakers aren't behaving, so we'll get it fixed for next week. But I appreciate you being on the show, and so everybody go check out the program. And June will be speaking at conference as well, so we're very excited about that. And what's your topic? Just share that really, really quickly.
The topic is staging and organizing in harmony, because I am also a certified professional organizer, and there's big overlap.
That's awesome. So she'll be one of the breakout sessions, and I love the musical approach. And if you go look at the topics, I love what you wrote for your overall subject. It's really cute.
I had fun. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right. I will see you in Atlanta at the home show in Atlanta. Yeah.
Great. I look forward to it. All right. Bye. Thank you, June. And thank you, Johnathan, for being on. So that's the show for today, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And I'll get the sound issues figured out. I don't know. It could be my system. But thank you, Johnathan Miller. Thank you, June Carter. And next week we'll have another great show for you. Join us. And if you have missed any of the Home Staging Talk Show lives up till now, you can find them on homestagingtalk.com, the website. My God, they're drilling outside. I apologize. Homestagingtalk.com, or also our YouTube, IHOSP YouTube page. You can find them there as well. So thanks, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back to see you next week. Bye-bye.